Welcome back to another video, everybody. Today we are working on the Datsun Roadster yet again. Right here, as you can tell, we have a bunch of race car parts. Over there, we have a new clutch kit. Right here, we have some exhaust tubing, some other exhaust bits, mufflers, resonators, V-bands, all that kind of stuff. And we have some new transmission seals and a new clutch line. If you missed the last video, then yeah, go watch it. Pretty much this thing had an issue with driving. The clutch wasn't disengaging. Turns out the clutch was bad, so we had to pull the engine and transmission out of the car to replace the clutch. We got this new clutch kit. It is a Flying Miata Happy Meal Stage 1 clutch kit with a lightweight flywheel. So it's an awesome clutch. It's gonna be nice and rev happy and grabby and great. But it sucks that we had to pull the engine to do this. Since the engine and transmission are out right now, we're going to replace some of the transmission seals because they're a little leaky. The other thing we have to do before putting the engine and trans back in is replace the brake master cylinder and repaint the engine bay. The current brake master cylinder that is in there leaked a little bit, and all the brake fluid dissolved all the paint in the engine bay. And it sucks. So I have to redo that. But yeah, that's what's in store for today. As you can tell, this paint is just totally screwed up. I can just kind of peel it off, just like where it bubbles up, like it's all just peels right off. I don't know what paint the guy used to paint this engine bay, but it was obviously very cheap stuff, because even my spray painted engine bays, they've never done this. So I have to scratch all this crap off and then paint it. The actual clutch. Ooh, baby, that looks nice. That's the release bearing. So the clutch is spinning with the engine, right? So when you press the clutch in, it presses this forward. But since this thing isn't spinning, that is spinning, you need a bearing in here, so this part spins, so it can press against the clutch smoothly. This is ready to go back onto the engine. Now we can put the clutch disc on and the clutch on. Needed the cable touch.
Yes.
Whew. So yeah, we're missing some trans bolts. We'll go get those and we'll throw it into the car. And a couple days later, here we are back at the shop. It's time to get this Datsun driving. Off camera, I did a couple things. I put the trans mount on, put the drive shaft in, as you can probably tell. Now we just have to button up the little things, put fluid back into the car, bleed the brakes, bleed the clutch to the fuel lines, and just bolt down some of the wiring, and we're all good. Is under pause. Most of the engine bay stuff is reassembled, all the wiring is done, intake is on, radiator is in, and it's filled with water. The guy who did this swap didn't really think about the fact that this radiator doesn't really work with this specific setup. The only way to fill the radiator and get the level all the way up is by using one of the actual hoses. And if you do it that way, then there's air in the system. So ideally, we'll eventually get a new radiator with a cap on the top. I'm gonna bleed the brakes, bleed the clutch, put the valve cover back on, and then hopefully it's all good. You look so funny in there about the seat and stuff. All right, so go ahead and pump the brakes. And on the last time, hold it down. So we were about to go put the valve cover on, turn it on, and try to drive it, but the valve cover is still tacky. It says it dries in 3 hours, but it's really humid out today, so it's not quite dry. It looks really good, and we don't want to ruin it, so we're gonna leave it overnight. We'll come back tomorrow, put the valve cover gasket on, the valve cover on, start her up, and hopefully she's all good. While we wait, we might as well start doing the exhaust, so that's what that's what we're gonna do. Last step. We're gonna start it, check the oil. Should theoretically start. Okay, we're gonna wait to put the exhaust on because we're scared. So we'll move all these cars and then we can take it for a spin. So we're gonna end this part one right here. The motor's back in, the clutch is working, it's all bled. In the next one, we'll finish the exhaust, finish all the, tidying up, put the seats in it, and drive it. And that will be up like tomorrow or the next day. I'm not gonna make you guys wait too long. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a like. If you didn't enjoy this video, please give it a dislike and tell me why. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I very much appreciate it. As you watch this, I'm probably on vacation with the other side of my family. If there's not a bunch of videos this next week, I do apologize. But as soon as I get back from vacation, more bus stuff, we're getting that running with a bigger turbo. We got that. We're so, yes. I'll see you guys for part 2 of getting the Datsun running and driving. Wow. 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 Yet again, you guys killed it with the Patreon support. All I want to say is thank you. We're now at 465 patrons. That's insane. Remember, if we get to 500, I'm gonna attempt a massive burnout in the adventure bus once it's done. Keyword on attempt. Well, we'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and thank you so much for watching.